You're listening to the MetsBeat podcast, only on govsradio.com.
Govs Radio.
Streaming live from Governors in Levittown, the biggest and baddest comedy club on Long Island. You're listening to the MetsBeat podcast featuring yours truly, Brian Melman, a.k.a. B-Mel, and the boy wonder himself, Mr. Thomas Santiago, or D-Train as we like to call him. We're talking Mets baseball, the Yankees thinking about hiring a mole for a manager, the G-Men sitting their franchise quarterback, and of course, a little inter-show rivalry with the Gentlemen's League fantasy football circuit. Also, we got some exciting MetsBeat news. But first, hey, chugging along, D. Trizzle.
B-Mel, I'm exhausted, man. It is Thursday, and I am ready for the weekend, really. But I'm here, ready to do a show. Very excited to be back. First show since Thanksgiving.
Right.
And how was your Thanksgiving, by the way?
It was good. Always, the kids make it fun. Always. I got little nieces and nephews running around. How about yourself? Where'd you go?
In the morning, went to my aunt's house for breakfast, and then met with my friends to play a game of football. My squad won. Final score 11-10. And then I went over to my grandma's house for dinner and got to watch the NFL football.
I absolutely love it because when we were growing up, always on Thanksgiving as kids, and probably till about 26, 27, we would play football in the morning as a tradition. And it kind of, as people got real jobs and people had kids and families, whatever, but we stopped playing. But I mean, there was like dislocated elbows and shoulders and broken bones and all sorts of going into Thanksgiving. It was fantastic. It really was. So I'm glad Thanksgiving was good. We wish everybody out there a happy Thanksgiving. There's not a tremendous amount of action within the Mets universe. There is, however, a lot of talk surrounding bringing in a first baseman. So tell me your thoughts on why the hell the Mets are hell-bent on having Dominic Smith not be their starting first baseman.
I mean, he didn't present the best slash line to them in his small sample size last year. Obviously, they have confidence in him in the fact that they gave him the starting position last year.
Right.
But moving forward, there's just so many great options in this free agent class. It's not like there's nobody out there and you can't make yourself better. So if you can make yourself better, why not do it? I see he's gone out there to try to make the changes himself. He's lost some weight from what I've heard, like about 10 or 12 pounds. He's involved with the community. He did a shopping spree with the team at a local Target.
I saw that with Ahmed Rosario.
Oh, Rosario was there as well?
Yep.
Very nice of them. Love seeing stuff like that. I love seeing them give back. Even though, they haven't even gotten their big deal yet. It's not like they're making millions.
Right.
But there's just other options out there. Do you not believe that the Mets could make themselves better with someone else?
Oh, man. I had an immediate point, but I really want to touch on the fact that I dislike Ahmed Rosario's beard because he was in the picture at the Target, and I didn't like it. And the other thing is, I don't think they were spending their money. I think they was probably spending the organization's money, right?
For sure. Yeah,
so,
no.
But,
it wasn't like when J.J. Watt went to Toys R Us and had the kids, fill up the carts themselves.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to harp on you and the point that you made, but like for anybody out there that's thinking these multimillionaires are going out and this is positive press for the Mets, and I don't know this for a fact. Maybe they did say, let me do it, but I think the Mets probably paid for all that, right?
Yeah. Well, they definitely paid for it all. It's a matter of whether or not those guys volunteered to go or whether or not they were told to go.
So
they could just be trying to market their names, really.
I think at this point that's a win-win for the Mets and for the young guys. You know what I mean?
For sure, to get out there and meet the fans.
And it's a right, the Mets organization is probably pushing them. Listen, we have this charitable cause. Why don't you do it? It'd be great. And they're young and green-eyed. They'll jump on that. Right. So, all right. Forget about my observations.
The original point.
Yeah. The original point with Dom Smith, what I don't understand is you have a stud first baseman that we were just totally, I'm lost for the word, but we were clamoring for this guy for months, for weeks, for months to come up. He finally comes up. Admittedly, he doesn't do well. He hit I believe he hit 198, 9 home runs in 49 games with the big club. Obviously not a good showing. It's not like Ahmed Rosario was doing that much better either. But he's a young guy. If you wanted to go with the youth movement, you got to do that. And what pisses me off about the whole situation right now is what's the plan? I want to know the plan. So Dominic Smith, who you sold me on for probably about 2 to 3 years at this point. This is not just this season. We were sold on Dominic Smith for 2 to 3 years since he was drafted. This is going to be the future with Ahmed Rosario, all that good stuff. I want to know what the plan is. Is the plan to go out and sign Eric Hosmer and trade Dominic Smith like my dream team from 2 weeks ago and go get Giancarlo Stanton, go get D. Gordon by trading him? Okay, fine. I can get on board with that. But if the plan is to go out and get Adam Lynn and what, trade away Dominic Smith for nothing, I'm going to be freaking pissed. If you said to me, I'm going to bring in Carlos Santana, I'm a little bit on the fence with it, but I'm going to put Dominic Smith in the minor leagues, and I'm going to wait until his batting average is 345, 350, and he's hitting jacks out of the park, and then we could see how the team goes, and I could trade him for a big piece for a World Series run. I'm on top of that. I'm okay. My issue is I don't know what the plan is.
Have they made it apparently so that if they do sign someone, he's going to go down, or do you think he's going to be traded immediately?
I don't think he's getting traded immediately, which I don't understand.
Are they being transparent enough? Really should have been.
They're not being transparent enough to answer that question. But the other issue I have is, why the hell are we focusing on first base right now? If you're not going after Eric Hosmer, there's no reason that we should be talking about a first baseman. Go get your Brian Shaw because he's got the connection to Mickey Callaway. I totally get the relievers. You can never have too much of a reliever. But what happened to a starting pitcher? What happened to second base? What happened to third base? We need an extra outfielder. Why the hell are we going after and spending all this freaking time and energy on the easiest position to fill? In first base.
It might be the easiest position, but you can't downplay the importance of it. And, you said you'd be on the fence about a guy like Carlos Santana, but he's, coming off winning a pennant, playing in a Game 7.
Wait. I'm not on the fence. I appreciate what you're saying, and continue in a second. I'm not on the fence about Carlos Santana. I'm on the fence with the plan of putting Carlos Santana in there. I have loved Carlos Santana for a while. I liked him as a catcher. I'd like to see him come to the Mets as a catcher. Obviously, wouldn't last, but go ahead. I'm sorry, I rudely interrupted.
No, that's fine. So, he's coming off 2 years ago. He played in Game 7 in the World Series. Last year, the Yankees eliminated Santana's team in 5 games in the ALDS, so he's a postseason experienced guy. He just won a Gold Glove, I think, in the American League this year. And he had the second most defensive runs saved at first base. So, a guy for the Mets, that is a huge help. Just preventing runs alone, because that offense, at times it can be a high-octane offense, but then at other times it's hard to move guys around on those base paths. So to get a guy who can prevent runs from scoring, that'd be a huge, huge plus for them.
I love it. I love Carlos Santana. I will be the first person to say it.
But can you afford him?
I don't like the plan. I don't like the Mets' plan, okay? And I will tell you this. You want to bring in a first baseman? Bring in a first baseman. Bring in Eric Hosmer. Go trade for Jose Abreu. Why wouldn't the White Sox, if they're rebuilding, say, you know what? Let me take a chance on Dom Smith. It's I was going to say a smaller market. It really isn't a smaller market.
I feel like for the White Sox, they seem like the
Cubs
smaller.
are there. Right? You get that feeling of they are the smaller market.
In the sense that the Mets are a small market in New York to the Yankees.
I think more so. I appreciate the comparison, but more so only because the Cubs are so damn good. They're overshadowing the White Sox so much that the fan base is probably clamoring for anything. And why not bring in a young guy? All right, we're not winning. Trade Jose Abreu. Right there. That's what I want to see from this team.
But you gave up Chris Sale for Jose Abreu, if I'm not mistaken. The Red Sox originally
Jose
had him.
Abreu was he defected from Cuba and they signed him. They didn't give up anything. Jose Abreu is their guy.
So how did Sale went to the Sox for a different swap?
It was something else.
They got the shortstop from the Reds.
Yeah.
So the Red Sox had
I don't remember his name.
International guy. Okay. But anyway, I mean, it's not the only option over there. I think one of the most low-key best fits for the Mets would be a guy like Logan Morrison, who had a breakout year, almost hit 40 dingers, for the struggling Rays. So I think you put a guy who hit 38 home runs on a sub-500 team, and you put him on a team that has the staff that the Mets do and the possibility to be a 500 team. I think he could also be a huge plus for them. So,
do you have Logan's numbers on you?
38 homers. That's all I knew for sure.
All right. Listen, you want home runs from first base. I totally get it. It's actually why I was against Dom Smith in the first place, because he was never going to be a power hitter. As big as the dude is, he's not going to be a power hitter. He's not hitting 40 home runs out of the park. I loved Carlos Delgado. I like guys that can bang and get them out of the park in that first base slot. I totally get that. But Logan, does it excite me? Not really. I'm more concerned with what are you doing with Dominic Smith. If you come out and tell me the plan is I want to bolster his numbers, we'll reassess, and then we'll probably trade him away, I'm kind of okay with that. But you got to do a lot more than that. I got to see something at second base. I have to see a stopgap at third, and a stopgap to me is Todd Frazier.
So why not bring back Neil Walker to fill in all those utility spots?
Not mad at all.
So you'd be open for that. Would you also be open for a Duda reuniting?
For what is it? All right.
So then we'd be going back to first for Duda.
I'm so angry at this first. It's not your fault. I'm angry, obviously. I'm angry at the first base conversation. It really pisses me off. With so many damn holes on this New York Met team, why the hell are we talking about it? I almost want to talk about relievers. Like useless, boring freaking relievers I want to talk about more than first base. It doesn't make any sense to me. Dom Smith, if he would have turned out to be like a Justin Morneau 330 type hitter, okay, fine. But I don't see that in his future. I'm pretty low on him. Like you said, he lost 12 pounds. I like that. I don't know how you come to the big leagues and you're overweight. I mean, you just made it to the show. You grew up in Compton. You grew up in L.A., in the bad parts of L.A. How are you not so motivated to come up and be fit and trim, and what is he, 22? I mean, come on, you got to eat a lot of fast food to be overweight.
At least he's acknowledging the issue and he's addressing it.
But you're not Prince Fielder. Prince Fielder used his weight. You know what I mean? He hit the ball out of the park. It's not like this guy is hitting.
2-time home run derby champion.
This guy's not hitting 50 jacks because of his weight. He proved a lot to me this week, or last week. I saw him on the Mets hot stove. He's working, like you said, to your point. Sandy Alderson kind of called him out, and I do believe that was probably calculated, put a little fire under his ass. He's saying the right things. I'm not convinced with him there, and I'm not convinced with the Mets plan of going out and getting a first baseman. It doesn't make any sense to me. Let's move on to your Yankees. I was completely shocked to hear last week that they want to bring in the biggest mole in Major League Baseball history in Carlos Beltran. I think it's insane. I got to tell you, two franchises, and we'll get to the Giants, two franchises that have completely shocked me over the past couple months, who are usually ran very, very well, Giants especially. Between the Giants and the Yankees, I can't believe it. Eli will get to, but firing Girardi makes zero sense to me. But tell me about Carlos Beltran. Your feelings on him.
Yeah, so with the Carlos Beltran situation, I think you have to treat it with the way any other candidate for this job is, and it's all just rumors.
Well, you can't with that mole.
It's all just rumors that all these news medias all these news outlets want to run with. Because there is nothing definitive coming out other than the fact that these guys are getting interviewed. You can't say whether or not Aaron Boone has the edge over Carlos Beltran or whether Rob Thompson has an edge over anybody else. So my personal opinion about Beltran being the manager, I would not want it, man. This team is ready to win now. We got eliminated in Game 7 of the ALCS. I want a guy who has been in the postseason before. I want a guy who's made the wrong choice before so he knows the right choice to make. More so, I think Beltran could he could fit with the Yankees in a coaching position, whether it be in spring training as a special instructor, like guys like Reggie Jackson, Alex Rodriguez, or really just every former Yankee who lives in Tampa. He comes around to the facility and he trains,
right?
It's great. But as a manager, man, I just could not trust a rookie manager leading such a young team to the promised land like that. I wouldn't put my money on it.
I didn't like. I know you're not a big NBA fan, but Jason Kidd became a head coach a year after he retired. I'm not denigrating his skills, Jason Kidd's. I'm not denigrating Carlos Beltran's skills. They have zero experience, to your point, as a manager.
Take a break, man. Take a break. You just retired.
This is not an up-and-coming team. This is a now team. Whether they're ready for it or not, the Yankees are a now team. You got to bring in a guy who knows what he's doing. Was shocked that they didn't give Girardi a chance. I alluded to that already.
Which means the decision was made prior to opening day of 2017.
It absolutely
Regardless of how this
was.
team does, you're gone.
Was an absolute joke that Hal said even if they won the World Series, he would have been fired. Are you kidding me?
It's a testament to the statement I just made. No matter what the outcome was, you're gone at the end of the season.
That's BS. Do we really think that you fire Girardi if they won the World Series? Does that happen?
I mean,
exactly.
I couldn't even...
It's a tough question to ask. Yeah. Is it?
I don't think it's out of the realm of a possibility with the way the Yankees have treated their managers historically.
It'll never happen. It would have never happened. They would have never fired him if he won a World Series. They'd ride that out.
Yeah, they would have been high enough to ride it out, but I think that could have still been a decision at least made or a statement said before opening day.
You know, they were probably going down that route.
I don't think Hal came out and said that for no reason. I don't think he did it to spite Girardi. I think it had to have had some truth behind it.
Hal is such a little girl. I mean, he's such a little... He might as well be his sister. His sister has more balls than him. She should run this organization. What's her name? What's Hal Steinbrenner's sister's name?
Something Swindle Steinbrenner. She has the hyphenated last name.
Mrs. Steinbrenner.
Swindle.
Right now. Is George's wife still alive?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, I know I'm asking a very complicated question. I am asking. I'm throwing you for a loop. We're gonna call a little girl Steinbrenner.
Jennifer Steinbrenner Swindle.
She should be the one running this team because she's most like her dad. Okay, Hal is a little sissy who grew up afraid of his father and hid under numbers like most accountants do. This guy should not be running the world's most famous brand in all of sports. The guy doesn't want to spend any money. He should be running the Mets. If anything, if any New York team, you got to get a guy in there that wants to put championships on the field. It's not going to work. It is not going to work. You're going to see backlash. I think that Hal is going to screw up having Aaron Judge, the number one star in the game today.
Well, they already screwed up Dellin Betances with the way Randy Levine treated him during arbitration at the end of last season. They are mishandling these young guys, and it's starting to show. Hopefully, we saw what happened with Girardi and Sanchez early in the year. So who knows? There's a lot of things going on this team, but I think if you're a player, you know that your career will be immortalized with one ring in this town, specifically on this side of town. So I think they'll stick it through.
This is a problem that they shouldn't have. Girardi should be this manager. He should be the skipper.
But what if he didn't want the job as well? There's that possibility. There's a chance that he...
Why? Because of the family?
The family, his son specifically.
Let me explain something to you. If Girardi would have said, listen, I got to spend more time with my family. We all know he's a family guy. If he would have said that, and we talked about this. We don't have to talk about it ad nauseum, but if he would have said that, it would have and should have been handled differently. I want to spend time with my family. All right, no problem. We're going to come to a mutual. You're going to go spend time with your family. It's not the case. They had something against Girardi, and they did it the wrong way, just like the Giants did with Eli.
Now
I know you're not a football fan. You're not football. You're not a Giant fan.
I'm not a Giants fan, but I definitely rooted for the Giants during all of their successful runs. As far back as I can remember, when I first started watching football, I leaned more towards Giants than any other team. So Eli Manning has been under center for as long as I can remember for that team.
It is a joke. McAdoo should be fired. And let me explain something else. I know I'm saying that a lot tonight. If McAdoo gets fired this week and Eli loses his streak and then starts again, that is a freaking joke. It is a joke. How could you do this to this guy who beat the Patriots twice, gave you 2 rings, has been doing nothing but good by the franchise? except for the whole memorabilia thing. But he's been a good guy. He's been a great asset to this franchise. How could you not give him the decision?
I don't think McAdoo will be fired because
he will be fired.
I mean at the end of this week. If he's going to be fired, it'll be at the end of the season, because if he was going to be fired, it would have been after announcing that decision.
They can't do it.
Unless the orders came down or there was a mutual agreement, McAdoo stepped to, I forget the owner's name.
John Mara.
Mara. So there must be mutual agreement. This isn't a decision that McAdoo gets to make.
No, it wasn't. That's the point. Mara was in an owner's meeting and had no idea about this. Now, are they saying that? I don't know.
Well,
because Mara sees all the backlash. I don't know if they're saying that. But there's no way that you have the fate of your starting quarterback who won you 2 championships and you don't consult John Mara. First off, this guy's hairdo sucks, and he is a terrible head coach. He should be out. This is a joke. This is very Jets-like. And then on top of it, you're going to start Geno Smith. How do you not start the other guy? What's his name, Webb?
No. Well, they said they'll give him both looks.
Are you kidding me? How do you start Geno Smith? Geno Smith is a jerk. He got punched in the face, and he should have been.
You're a Jets fan, so your opinion on Geno Smith is virtually irrelevant. And I'll tell you why.
No, it's not.
Because he was successful with the Jets for a short. He had one season that was all right. Then he had another season where the Jets sucked. He had no options.
You know who's a better quarterback than Geno Smith?
Colin Kaepernick.
Mark Sanchez.
Yeah,
but fumble and all. Geno Smith is an awful quarterback. I don't think he's that good of a person, and I never met him before, and he should not. Let me repeat, he should not be starting instead of the 2-time beating Tom Brady champion Eli Manning.
Super Bowl MVP.
That is a joke.
And he also has thrown probably 2 out of the 3 greatest catches in NFL history. Granted, they were both just horrible throws.
And Tyree really made that what it was. I mean, listen, there was the escape out of the pocket. When we get all that stuff, the throw to
40 seconds on the clock, down by 4, like everything.
It was storybook. It was absolutely storybook. How do you take away a streak that is... It's so improbable. It's more so than what Cal Ripken did in the game of football. How do you take away that streak from this guy? Don't tell him.
One
Let
way
him
you
start
can
the
justify
game.
it. Well, actually, that's another thing.
Let him start the game and then just take him out.
They did offer them that. He turned that down.
No. Don't tell him. No, I know that. I know that.
Just let it happen.
Let him start the game.
So swindle him into.
So he doesn't lose his streak. And you could have did. How many more games are there left? 4 in the regular season.
Yeah.
You could have did that for 4 weeks. You could have had him start.
I'm sorry, 5 full games, because this is week 13,
so
14, 15, 16, 17.
4 was a stretch. You probably couldn't do it for 5. But let him freaking start out there and then slowly take him out. Do not let this streak be in jeopardy.
Isn't it safe to say that he wasn't catching Favre anyway? Or does that not matter? Is it the principle that his streak should run until he physically can't take the field?
It is absolutely the principle. It is absolutely the principle. This guy has done nothing but good for the G-men. He is nothing but good.
And especially in a season like this where you lose every single one of your wideouts. All of them. Shepard came back, luckily. That's it. No line.
A guy who's got no line is going to get beat up.
We've seen it with Dak right now.
He's got no weapons. He didn't start the year with good running backs. He's not going to finish the year with good running backs. He got awful wide receivers, and this is a guy who's willing to put himself on the line for the franchise. You're screwing. Listen, sports are not individual. I mean, you have your golf, you have all that crap. Here is a guy that you're screwing with his legacy. You are screwing with his legacy. It's not right. It is absolutely not right. Let's move on to our matchup, okay, in fantasy football, because I'm itching at the bits, because you know how much it irritates me that I'm 99% not going to make the playoffs. I don't know if I'm mathematically eliminated.
You're mathematically eliminated.
All right, why do you got to do that?
Final week of play, and you're trailing by 3 wins. So
what do you mean? What do you mean? This isn't the final week of play?
Yes, it is.
We have 3 more weeks
of playoffs.
No,
which you'll be on the couch.
What are you talking about? Is this week 13?
This is week 13.
That's it? It's over?
This is it. And if I
can't come to terms with my fantasy season.
Dude, I won the first 2 games and lost like 5 consecutive, and I'm back. I'm back in. I'm in the 6th seed right now.
I am happy for you that you're in the 6th seed. Unfortunately, I'm going to kick your ass.
That's not gonna happen.
Let's put some money on it.
Let's not and say we did, because every time I do.
Because
I
you're the only one that pays up.
I have the top 2 wide receivers available in fantasy football this week, and that's Antonio Brown and Keenan Allen. And that's right, I'll put Keenan Allen above Julio Jones based off the recent performances.
Even with last week.
Yeah.
You kind of have to. Yeah, I actually
Without
agree
that
with
bomb
you.
from Sanu, Julio Jones' whole game has changed last week.
Julio's been
it's still a great game.
Listen,
200 yards. 200 yards.
break down for everybody what my team looks like.
Oh, well, under center is Phillip Rivers, who had himself a game with 400 yards last week, followed
On
by
my bench.
Oh, wow. Followed by the dynamic duo of Julio Jones and Mike Evans. Mike Evans yet to top 100 yards this season. Luckily, he gets his Jameis Winston back this week. Maybe there's a little spark.
Did you put a claim in for Jameis? I was shocked because you're starting McCown now. And I'm happy to root against the Jets. I hope they lose.
I feel more safe starting McCown over a sketchy Dak Prescott over a Winston who we have not yet seen on the field again, since injury. But yeah, then you're running back to how does your team? This makes no sense.
It's mind-boggling. And let me tell you. All right, so one-man Wolfpack, Patty, who's my best friend in the world.
That took my whole team.
He researched how to plug in our league, and he's like, not only he called me very serious. He's like, dude, not only are you having a bad season in terms of this algorithm that they have, you are having historically the worst season in all of fantasy history.
But is that assuming that your current roster was your full roster from day one? Because that wasn't the case. You made moves to
Very astute
accumulate
point.
this lineup.
Very astute point. I don't know, but I do know that I'm finishing the season with Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Mark Ingram, Shady McCoy,
Hunter Henry's back at it now that the other tight ends
and
are.
Derek Carr on my team, and I'm not going to make the playoffs. If I would have told you that in the beginning of the year, you would have said you won.
Oh, you got Jaquiz Rodgers? That was a good pickup.
Yeah.
Especially if Martin doesn't
You know what it is? Honestly, this week was about taking people away from you. I didn't want you to have Jameis.
I've done that. I've done that before.
Before we wrap up, I want to do a score prediction. You go first.
A final score prediction. Well, seeing as how they're projecting you to be 130 and me to be 116, and it's never correct, and you seem to be in the highest scoring matchups of all time, always.
Yeah, you should put up a lot of points.
And I have Brown and Allen, and you have Ingram and Shady. I'm going to say this is going to be like a 150-140 final where I win, you lose. Haha.
Okay. I'm going to win this matchup 158 to 157. It's going to be a nail-biter. But that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the MetsBeat podcast. We've hit double digits in episodes, okay? And just about 2,500 followers on Twitter. Thank you for following. The biggest news we have today that we've been teasing for 10 episodes. You thought I forgot. We are finally on iTunes. Just go search for MetsBeat, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. We're setting up for true greatness, and we cannot wait to show you what's in store. Make sure you follow MetsBeat on Twitter for breaking Mets news. Even in the offseason, we beat our competitors. And look out for some exciting changes within our organization. He's D-Train, I'm B-Mel saying stay healthy, get wealthy, and let's go Mets. Peace.